Hey guys, welcome back. capnbozzy here, and you're watching Mass Effect 3 Multiplayer N7 Academy Part 2. And in this video, we're just going to continue forward with the basics. So, of course, in Part 1, I just went through a lot of these different options here. So, I went through the store and showing you the basic equipment, weapons, and powers. So in this video, we're going to step forward a little bit and jump into the game. But right before we get started here, I just want to show you what key bindings I use. So of course, if you've already played the single player campaign, you probably have your key binds set up for that. So of course, there's a lot of different key binds here that you will not need to use in multiplayer, such as walk and navigational assistance, quick save and load, of course. But on any chance, of course, if you're a PC player, this will apply to you. If you're a console player, this doesn't matter. Then I just want to show you what I use. So if you're looking for some ideas, then this may be some help to you. So of course, I just use WSAD for basic walking or movement controls. E for use covers storm. Left and right mouse buttons for shoot and aim. R for reload. Spacebar for melee. Mouse wheel down and up for next weapon and previous weapon. Important note here, you really do not want to use the command HUD in multiplayer. Using the command HUD, it does not freeze the game. And you only have 3 powers in your power slots that you can use, and I'll of course show you that in a second. So there really is no reason to use the command HUD. It's really not going to be useful to you because you're just going to need instant access to those key binds if you want to be competitive. So if you're still using the command HUD, I absolutely suggest you switch to using key binds instead. It's maybe an adjustment to get used to from single player, but it's really not that hard to get used to, and it's absolutely essential. So of course a lot of these other ones you don't need. So moving down here to quick slots 1 to 8. So these first 3 here, quick slots 1, 2, 3, these are the 3 powers that, if you remember back in the first video, the 3 powers that you can use. And then, of course, then you have, the ones that you use for your power damage, that particular power slot, and then your fitness. So the first 3 above those are the ones that you can assign to your quick slot power bar. And so what I typically use for slot 1 is middle mouse button, and secondary is 3. And what I mainly use this for is something like if I'm playing an infiltrator and I have a cloak, a tactical cloak, I'll use middle mouse button for that tactical cloak. And that to me I found is just the easiest to use. It's what I prefer. For these next 2 slots here, I typically use them for projectile powers or grenades, depending on what the kit is. So if I'm playing the human male adept, for example, this is going to be warp for me, and then I'm going to use throw for F. If you're using a different type of kit that has grenades or something, so if I'm using a Turian Ghost Infiltrator, then I may use one of these slots for his stim packs. I personally use X for that slot, and an F for overload with the Turian Ghost, and that's just what works for me. So slot 4 in multiplayer is not used, and so that leaves 5, 6, 7, and 8. So with 5, this is what I use to access my Cobra missile launcher, which so I absolutely recommend having this be something that you're used to using, that you can get to easily, because that's something you're going to need to be using a lot, and getting used to whipping out whenever you're in critical danger. So that's something you want easy access to, as well as quick slot 6. This is what you use for your ops packs. So I use Q for ops packs. I really don't use the secondaries for these. So I just use Q for that. For Metagel, I use up. And for quick slot 8, this is your thermal pack, extra thermal clip packs. I use C. So lastly here, for voice chat, so if you're going to be using a microphone, I personally use left shift, and you can go in your audio settings and options to change this to click to talk, or press to talk. And so I use left shift for that. Prolong life, this just has to do if you get incapacitated and you're down, and you're waiting for a teammate to revive you, or if you're going to, of course, use a metagel instead. But if you want to prolong your life, you use this button here, and I have this on spacebar. You smash that button, and that helps to prolong the little circular meter that shows how long it takes until you're going to bleed out. So you want to smash that prolong life button if you go down, and that extends the time that you have for your teammates to come revive you. So if you are completely dead, so you go down and then you either get stomped out by an enemy, or you just let it drain out and you bleed out, then you'll be able to spectate the other players who are still in the game, and you can use that just by pressing spacebar or whatever you have here. Okay, so that covers the key bindings, and now I'm going to create a new match, and this is going to be private, so it's just going to be me in here, and I'm just going to do a Firebase Giant, and we'll just do I guess we'll just do Cerberus, and I'm just going to put it on bronze just for the sake of this starter tutorial video. Press confirm to create the game. Okay, so this takes me here to the lobby screen here. So I talked earlier about your N7 score and your challenge score. So your N7 score, you can see N7 icon here. My score is 1920, and this blue bar here, that has to do with how many times. You'll notice that's the same symbol as your promotions for that particular class. So I have promoted the Adept class 10 times, and that's why that blue bar says 10. And that yellow one that just passed by, that is your challenge score. So I showed you in the last video a lot of the different challenges you can do. So every time you complete a challenge, it adds a certain increases your challenge score. I briefly talked about before, when you're in a lobby, especially if you're with random players, you're going to want to check to see their stats. This isn't important really when you're in bronze and silver, but when you move up to gold and platinum, depending on, of course, how good you are, you're really going to want to pay attention to those stats to see if different players who are in the lobby are going to be assets to your team, or they're going to detract from your team. So if you notice that there's a disparity in their stats, and then you click on their character, so if you click on me here, you can see what my loadout is, and you can see that maybe they have, for a particular kit, they have low-level weapons, or they have weapons that just don't make sense for their particular kit. So for human male adept, that's a power-based class. You don't want to be using a sniper rifle. You don't want to be using really heavy weapons. You want something that's light and fast, and that allows you to strip shields quickly. So that's why I have the acolyte, and then another light weapon like a pistol or a submachine gun to allow you to do damage on enemies. And of course you have my weapon mods here, and then of course you have the equipment. You can use the consumables here, except for this last slot. And if you see that this person isn't using equipment, that's of course the first indicator. If they're not using equipment in gold and platinum, that is absolutely a problem, and that may be worthy of kicking them from the room. So you'll see here there's this kick player option here that once there's another player inside, you'll be able to use that. And every now and then, there are players who join the game who are clearly leeches. They're not going to be people who are going to contribute to the team. They're just there to leech credits, and they're probably going to die. So they are worthy of kicking. And it's important. Don't feel bad about it if you're going to kick someone. Just do it for the sake of the team, and also do it for the sake of that player, because they're probably not going to have fun. If they are clearly, don't have the loadout that would be successful on gold or platinum, then they really should not be in the game. Obviously, if you know the person and you want to help them out, that's a different story. But if you're playing a random game and you see some guy come in who just doesn't have any good weapons or anything, kick him out, and just get someone else in there. They're probably just going to be a burden on your team, and you really don't want that. Okay. So from this screen as well, you can also choose your loadout. So of course, if I want to change up my powers, I can reset them here and respec them. If I want to change my weapons, of course, I can also do that here. I can go to the store, change the appearance, and also choose my equipment. So I'll just do this here. So for the human male adept, that may be one of the kits that you start using first of all the what we call vanilla characters or starter human characters. For something like a human male adept, that is a biotic character, so you want to most likely use warp rounds once you have them. So you'll be using just level 1 rounds in the beginning, and that's just what I'm gonna put on for right now. And for weapons, I'm using the N7 Hurricane and the Acolyte. So for this particular kit, I would obviously want to use either an SMG rail lamp or a pistol rail lamp. So I'm just going to put on the SMG rail lamp 1 here. For armor bonus, when you're first starting out, I definitely suggest using cyclonic modulators. You really want to be able to survive as much as you can, make that as easy as possible for you. When you're, of course, in the beginning stages, you're only going to be getting level 1 equipment here. So as you get further along, you'll probably get better at surviving in the game. You may not need to use cyclonic modulators as much. You may prefer to use adrenaline modules. That's your run speed, which is fine. Or if you want, something like like stabilization module to help you have a more stable gun when you're shooting. That's really useful for SMGs. Or depending on if you're using a character who's using heavier weapons, you may want power efficiency. I use this for the Slayerian Infiltrator since I use a javelin with him, and I want my tactical cloak and other powers to be able to recharge very faster. That may be something you want to use. So that just depends. And so right now I'm just going to put on the cyclonic modulator 1. Since the human male adept is what we call a squishy character, or has low health and shields. And lastly here, so this is not a consumable slot. These will always you'll never lose any of these. Once you unlock them, they will always be available, and they just upgrade. So level 5, the V there, is of course the highest that they can be. So for something like the human male adept, I'm going to want to use something that's going to help with my pistol damage and biotic damage. So this is something that I would use for this kit. However, if you really want, like I said, a boost in your shields when you're first starting out, you may want the shield booster, or you may want to use something like an expert package, which allows, if you're using SMG, to have a faster power recharge speed and SMG damage. For this, I'm just going to go with the commando package, since that gives me biotic damage and pistol damage. And all right, so let's just get started here. All right, so I just pressed the spacebar key to make myself ready. You can also press ready on the menu there. And okay, so I'm in a game. So I'm not going to play through this whole game. This is just to show you things. I don't have the the command HUD available, so I don't. Like I said, you don't need to use that. In the top left corner, you can see that I have my powers, so spec to the quick slots, and with my middle mouse, that's how I'm going to throw out singularity, which you can see there. Okay, and I also have, for X, I have warp. Okay, so that's throwing out warp, and then F, I have shockwave. Okay, so you can see there that the fourth slot, which I have for number 4, is not being used. There's nothing you can do with that. And then 5, I have my Cobra missile launcher, and after that with Q, I have my ops packs, and then the next one is up, which I have for my metagel, and then C, which is my extra thermal clips. Okay, so once again, that's how you just set those in your key bindings, and that's how those will show up. In the power bar at the top there. Okay, so of course in the bottom left is my current weapon I'm using. You can see that changes when I change my weapon, and you can see how much ammo I have. And in the bottom right, every time I get a kill or anyone else does anything related to any of the basic objectives in the game, you'll see that your name along with the weapon you use and what enemy you kill shows up. That's for kills. And of course, on things like doing hacks or other objectives in the game, you'll see other little messages pop up and then disappear in the bottom right corner. Okay. Another important thing to keep in mind, right under my power bar in the top left, you'll see little indicators for the you see cargo transfer there. Depending on what part of the map you're in, you will see, so I'm in bunker now, you'll see that change, and that's how you can keep track of what location you're in if you ever need to communicate that to your teammates. To be honest, that really is not important. I've really never had to say that to anyone, because you can see your teammates with a blue glow around them as they're playing anywhere on the map, so that's not really a problem. However, if you ever want to call that out and say there's a Banshee in connection, or whatever the part you're in, that may be something you want to do. People don't really do that. People are usually silent on multiplayer, but that is there if you need to use it. Let me see. So, of course, every time that you get a kill, so I'll kill this guy right here, you can see, okay, so plus 220 kills shows up. That's obviously how much XP you get whenever you kill one of the enemies on the field. And of course that number will change according to what enemy you're killing. So if you're just killing a base level enemy like one of these Cerberus troopers, assault troopers, versus killing a boss like something like an Atlas or a Banshee, you'll get more XP for that, and that's, well, it's actually not XP. It's just your score, that will just show you what your score is in the game. So when I press escape here, you can see my current score is 4382, and so that number will, of course, will increase. And now see it's 4602 every time you get a kill or do any other type of thing, any other objective in the game. Of course, also you also get more points when you're playing higher difficulties, so you'll get more for each of these kills when you're playing higher levels. This is of course bronze, so it's the lowest level. When you're playing silver, gold, and platinum, you'll get more for each of these kills. And so it's important not to get too caught up with getting kills, like your score. I mean, you don't need to be top in the charts every single game. Of course, that keeps track of how much progress you're making. But it's really just if you're doing well on the team, and the team's doing fine, you're doing your job, then that's what's most important. It's about everyone extracting, everyone winning, and helping out your team, being a team player. That's really important. There's plenty of guys out there who are just lone wolves, and you can get away with that in the lower levels. And just very quickly, you can see 25 kills. That little emblem popped up on the right side. That's just one of the medals that you can receive, and at the end of the game, you can see your medal count. So, of course, this is round 3. So now I'm doing one of the objectives. This is the devices objective, where you just go around and complete 4 of the different objectives, and this is a you have a particular time. You can see on the right it says 4:36, 4:35, and so you go around to each one of these and complete them. And the faster that you complete these objectives, the more XP, the more points you'll get for doing that. So you can see in the bottom right, capnbozzy enabled device plus 750. So for completing objectives, that will add also to your overall score. So of course you have the on-map indicators. You can see just this blue arrow, just like in single player, shows you exactly where all the different objectives are. So it's very simple to find them. Of course, to my left here, you can see the ammo box here, which is spread all around the map. And let me think. Let's see what else is there to say. Okay, so there you go. That's a completed objective round here. So you can see I just got plus 1875 credits, and the time bonus plus 405 credits. So even if I were to die right here, I would still get those credits and be able to use them to buy stuff in the store. So as I said earlier, you definitely want to make sure on rounds 3, 6, and 10 that you do whatever you can to complete those objectives, even if you don't survive the rest of the round, just so that you get those credits, because those are absolutely essential. Buying new gear so you can level up and get better weapons and unlock characters, etc. Okay, so I'm just going to finish this round here, and you can see that plus 440. That was a couple more points from killing the regular enemy, since that was a slightly higher level enemy, and I think that's really about it. As for just the very basics of a multiplayer game. So yeah, I'm gonna end this here, and in the next video, we'll start to get into some more in-depth things. I'll just show you. I think I'll go into actually different weapons, and yeah, I think I'll just do a whole video on weapons, and then after that I'll move on to some more practical things, such as doing power combos and things like that. So stay tuned for the next video, and I'll see you next time. capnbozzy out.